Welcome back, focused learners. Today we're diving into a brand new explainer that's going to help you make a massive, and I mean literally massive, design decision for your space. We're talking about the ultimate guide to choosing the perfect high-end aquarium setup, pulling insights straight from the experts over at Saltwater Reef Co. You know, mounting an aquarium, it's just an absolutely incredible way to bring a vibrant slice of nature right into your living room. But before you go out and start picking out your favorite corals and colorful fish, we got to talk about the physical foundation. Let's break down exactly what you need to know before you commit to building a massive aquatic ecosystem.
Okay, so here's our agenda for today as we match up these two contenders across 6 critical categories. We're going to cover 1, the great debate, 2, space and room layout, 3, installation and hidden costs, 4, maintenance and daily care, 5, flexibility for the future, and finally, 6, making your final decision. Let's jump right in.
Starting off with Section 1, the great debate, establishing the contenders.
So getting an aquarium can either be this breathtaking showpiece upgrade or, well, a completely frustrating project. Before we even think about looking at technical specs, do me a favor. Just look around your room right now. Seriously, look at your walls, check out your floor space, get a feel for the flow of the room, and ask yourself this foundational question. Which tank actually fits your space? Both in-wall and freestanding options can look absolutely stunning, but man, they differ sharply in the planning phase, the cost drivers, and how they hold up over time. Remember, you're committing to a living, breathing ecosystem here, so the physical reality of your room, that has to be your starting point.
Let's go ahead and frame this head-to-head matchup, because we're really looking at 2 entirely different structural philosophies here. First up, the in-wall setup. These tanks are designed to be heavily integrated directly into your walls. That means they rely on built-in support structures and the whole shebang. Your plumbing, your wiring, your filtration equipment, it's all completely concealed within the architecture of the house. On the flip side, we have the freestanding setup. These guys rely on a standalone stand, and because they don't force you to go ripping open your drywall, they offer a much quicker, more modular path from your initial light bulb moment to actually getting water in the tank.
Moving right along to Section 2, space and room layout, maximizing your floor area.
Now, if your absolute ultimate goal is to maximize the usable floor area in your home, an in-wall aquarium is a remarkably strong match. Think about it. Because the tank is completely recessed into the wall, it creates this beautifully clean visual line. It significantly reduces how far the aquarium pokes out into your walking path, which honestly makes it ideal for tight spaces like hallways or a dedicated entertainment wall. But looking at freestanding setups, because these do project into the room, they are the absolute winner for practicality in open areas. And here's the real kicker. If you're working with a rental property, an office space, or basically anywhere where tearing up walls is a big no-no, a stand-based setup is absolutely going to be your best, most practical choice.
All right, Section 3, installation and hidden costs beyond the glass tank.
Let's be incredibly clear about something right off the bat. An in-wall aquarium is rarely, if ever, a quick weekend DIY build. Just look at these heavy required structural steps. Step 1, you've got to thoroughly assess your wall framing. Step 2, you have to install some major structural support. Look, salt water weighs over 8 pounds per gallon. You aren't just holding up some glass, you're literally carrying the immense weight of a small vehicle inside your wall. Step 3, depending on where you live, doing the electrical and plumbing work might actually require professional installation, meaning you'll likely need to go pull city permits. And Step 4, you must build safe custom access panels for your filtration. Because of all these heavy rebuild elements, you carry a way higher risk of schedule delays and extended lead times compared to just dropping in a freestanding setup.
So let's walk through this budget breakdown. These budget comparisons actually surprise people all the time, mostly because the glass aquarium itself, that's just a tiny fraction of the total cost. Up front, in-wall builds carry a significantly higher price tag because of the materials and labor for framing and wall finishing. Freestanding setups, on the other hand, generally cost way less initially since you're really just buying the tank and the stand. But wait, look at the hidden costs here. For in-wall, you're paying for all that concealed wiring and custom cabinetry. For freestanding, sure, it's cheaper initially, but you might end up spending more later if you decide you want a custom aesthetic, like buying built-in surround panels to hide things. And finally, thinking about later upgrades. Once an in-wall tank is sealed up in that drywall, adding new equipment is incredibly tough. Freestanding setups make it vastly easier to slap on additional equipment later, especially if you find out you need more stability or maybe some noise reduction down the line.
Which brings us to Section 4, maintenance and daily care, the day-to-day reality. Okay, so the wall is built, and the tank looks completely seamless, but how exactly are you taking care of these fish every single day?
Regardless of how beautiful the whole thing looks from your sofa, you've got a living ecosystem in there that demands your attention. Let's run through a rapid-fire list of mandatory real-world servicing tasks you'll have to perform just to keep your tank healthy. First, you must execute routine filter changes. Then, you've got to conduct regular water testing to monitor your chemistry. You've got your daily feeding routines, and this is absolutely crucial, you need immediate unobstructed access to your emergency shutoffs just in case something goes wrong.
I want you to just imagine your future self for a second and answer this. How easily can you reach your equipment? Look, in-wall aquariums look perfectly seamless from the outside, but if the access behind that wall is cramped, your maintenance routine is going to become so much slower and way more error-prone. Now, contrast that with a freestanding tank, where access is generally pretty straightforward. You literally just open the stand doors or use the open layout to easily reach your equipment and handle your water changes. If you want a low-friction routine, or especially if you're brand new to aquarium care, having that simple open access is just incredibly valuable.
On to Section 5, Flexibility for the Future, Adapting to Change. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the long-term reality of your choice. You see, an in-wall aquarium is essentially a permanent architectural commitment. Once that wall is built, the tank is literally part of the architecture of your house. Now, if you are super confident about your desired tank size, your species plan, and your aesthetic, that permanence, it can actually be a wonderful feature. However, a freestanding aquarium offers immense flexibility. It's far simpler to relocate if you decide to reorganize the room. It's easier to resize if you want to upgrade, or even entirely replace if you're still deciding on your preferred filtration approach. Undoing a wall installation is a massive demolition project. Moving a freestanding tank? Well, that just takes a bit of heavy lifting and some good friends. Let's wrap things up with Section 6, Making Your Final Decision, the Final Verdict.
Let me carefully guide you through this final checklist so you can make the best call when it comes to your primary goal. Choose an in-wall setup if what you really want is maximum visual integration into your home's design. Choose freestanding if you highly value flexibility and a modular approach. Now, regarding your readiness, choose in-wall only if you are fully ready for structural planning and the possibility of hiring professional contractors. If you just want a much faster installation, go freestanding for sure. Finally, for maintenance, choose an in-wall setup only if you can actively design that space behind the wall for comfortable real-world access. Otherwise, choose freestanding if you know you need straightforward open access. Bottom line, no matter which path you choose, you absolutely must prioritize safe support and proper equipment ventilation.
I really want to highlight this exact quote directly from the experts over at Saltwater Reef Co. They say, "Your fish and your future self will thank you." I mean, that just brilliantly captures the entire ethos of this explainer, doesn't it? Proper planning up front, whether that's getting down there and measuring your floor joists for an in-wall build, or just making sure you have the right sturdy stand for a freestanding setup. It prevents major headaches, costly renovations, and literal ecosystem disasters down the road. As we close out today's explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on as you look around your own living space. Are you building a permanent architectural showpiece or a flexible aquatic ecosystem? Both are just incredible ways to bring the beauty of the reef right into your home, but your budget, your patience for construction, and your daily maintenance habits are ultimately going to dictate the right path for you. Thanks so much for joining us today to learn and explore this fascinating structural breakdown, and we will catch you on the next explainer.